It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Mala Singh. She is an alumnus of IIT Roorkee as an environmental scientist. Today, she is a prominent green entrepreneur in India with more than 20 years of experience. She is the vice president at IGBC and a certified AP and lead green associate. She was recognized as one of the top 50 green leaders globally in the World CSR Congress 2017 and bestowed with the title of IGBC Fellow for her outstanding contribution to the green building movement in India in 2016. Dr. Mala will speak on sustainability in real estate, a key driver for the better tomorrow. So let's welcome Dr. Mala.
So the topic I chosen was very specifically to the real estate market because, today there are two aspects, one is when we are living in the metro cities, urban cities. So I think we can see all around, the concrete boxes and I would say it's a lot of, the kind of concrete jungle environment you could see. And the way the population is increasing, the kind of development we are expecting in the future, especially in the developing countries like India. Because if you see the developed countries, they have already developed, they have already utilized their resources already into creating those structures. But the country like India, where we are addressing real estate market, which is growing, in a very big way, if you see the growth rate, annual growth rate, which is 7.6%. And if you see the market, the expected to grow by $5.2 trillion in 2027, we are expecting with a growth of 7%. And now thing is that how I'm correlating why we need to talk sustainability in the real estate market, because the more and more we can see the mega cities all over the world. If you see the global perspective, we have already 371 mega cities in the 2000, which were with the 1 million inhabitants in overall. But if you see in the 2018, the way it was grown, it was up to 548. Then 230, we are projecting it up to 706 cities. And a lot of townships, and we are expanding our the existing cities. So they are becoming mega cities. So what's happening? This is an urbanization process, which is basically very much related to the real estate market. And the way we are growing, the way we are building, so definitely it's affecting our resources, and it has broader impact on the environmental and our Mother Earth, the resources we are getting from her. And the main part, if you see that these large mega cities, they are mostly in the less developed regions of the world, and where India and Asia also comes into the picture. But if you see the growth, as I have spoken about, we are growing tremendously, especially the commercial estate market. If you see the growth in the urban areas, we are talking about green buildings, but when the growth is happening, we definitely need to build it sustainably. So when we are, as a developing countries, we know that we have to build and build. So we need to know how to understand the impact of carbon emissions, how to understand the impact of water scarcity, how to understand the waste impact. So all those factors becomes very important to understand when we talk about this developing, especially in the developing countries like in India. Growth is okay, but how to grow sustainably becomes a very important aspect. As I rightly said, that 60% of the India has still, we need to build. We can talk about contemporary designs and very beautiful, mud houses or green houses in the rural areas or in educational institutions we can consider. But what to do in the urban context, that becomes a challenge, where we are, thinking it's becoming like a concrete jungle. Because the technology we are using, that is also very limited. I would say the technology interventions are there. We are only using the concrete or MyOne technologies, or maybe sometime AC blocks like that. Now, before today, because we have a time constraint here, I would like to show you few of the projects where we have worked for some new developments and some transformation from the existing projects, where I'll be just giving you some sort of glimpses of those projects as a case studies. But before that, I think it is very important that in the real estate sector, sustainability challenges and opportunities are there, which these 10 factors are very important, these challenges. So in these 10 of these aspects, if you see, the topmost is the climate change. So it is a time where real estate now must address climate change. Whenever they are talking about buildings, built environment, infrastructure, so climate change is the most important, the first challenge. Then second is the energy security, then your waste and pollution, then poverty and inequality, then resource scarcity, water security, health and well-being, biodiversity and ecosystem loss. So these 10 challenges are the most important challenges, which are very much, I would say, directly connected with the real estate market when we are talking about the sustainability challenges in the real estate sector. So when we talk about the first challenge, which is the climate change, I think it's not a fashion or buzzword now, it's a reality. And we know the consequences, we know the what's happening all around the world. And the major thing is that the cities are just 2% of the Earth's surface, but are responsible for the 75% of the global CO2 emissions. So these things are really something, which really are making us aware that, where we are going actually. So what we are actually going to do. We can talk very good things, but we need to understand the challenges also, because it's like we have already, I think, reached up to the tipping points in terms of resource utilization. So, and also the heat waves. Nowadays, we could see that the cities like Delhi, even in Mumbai, where we were thinking that in the coastal cities, we were thinking that we have very cool environment. Even in the summer also, we were not so uncomfortable. But nowadays, if you see the scenario, the temperature, how it is, it's all effect of climate change. Then I also spoke about the Maivan construction, because the extra, when we talk about the concretization in the urban context, so definitely we are also addressing heat island effect here, because the microclimatic temperature variations and the heat waves, these have a correlation with each other. Because unless we don't understand how to create that sustainable built environment, but we are using the same materials which are not in synergy with the thermal properties, actually we are requiring actually to build those structures. So these are again the challenges in the real estate market to achieve the sustainability goals. Similarly, when we talk about I think the last speaker talked about the lot of bringing nature to the buildings. But the problem is that looks very nice in a very exclusive and specific projects. But if you see the cities, I'll tell you, when you just take one project, one high-rise tower or multi-story complex of 3 towers, where is a Mother Earth available? Where you will put those green areas? Even the existing trees, people are going to cut and taking tree NOC, and they say that, okay, we will add this green on the podiums. So what are the options available here? That's the biggest challenge. And we are addressing urban heat island effect. We have to cope up with the challenge of heat waves. But how to bring this nature as a part of our entire development, it's a big issue. Because the policy interventions, having those RG spaces in those high-rise structure, so how to bring that? So isn't it that biophilic design we talk about vertical gardens, vertical farming, only those are the options. Because you don't have land mass available, where to put that green area. So this is what we are getting attracted towards the vertical landscape, roof gardens. So these kind of options are only the available options. So let's talk practical actually. So these are some of these are some global examples. We have some in India also. But I'll tell you, this needs to bring in the mainstream of the development now. Because having just 1 or 2 building or 5 or 6 buildings with this biophilic design will not help to create a sustainable built environment for the larger community. Because we need to just bring this atmosphere in such a way so that we can have a better environment for everybody, for all kind of classes of society. Now coming to the energy security, here also if you see, the building sector itself is responsible for the more than 35% of the energy consumption and more than 38% of the CO2 emission. So real estate sector is something now which is very, very important, where we have to address now decarbonization issue. We need to talk about energy efficiency, because it is a sector which is responsible for a large, I would say, the impact on the environment. Then resource scarcity, because this is a challenge in the real estate market. If you are not able to fulfill the demand of your steel, cement, because you are mining for that, so what is going to happen then? Your resources are going to deplete one day, and if nothing is left, how will you construct the things? So that's optimization process. Again, you need to bring into the mainstream of the real estate market. This is what, if you see in the slide, and you see the date of 28 July 2023. This date is going to be the Earth Overshoot Day. So that means the Earth, you have already utilized all the natural resources which is available on the Mother Earth. So where we are going? And we feel that developed countries are consuming more resources than us. And we feel satisfied, okay. Because if you see this chart, you will see that US consume more Mother Earth they require, but India require only one Mother Earth. But I'll tell you, the way the population is, we are, exploiting now, and we are almost equal to China, even more than China. So imagine due to the upcoming development and proposed infrastructure, ongoing project, to see the kind of the resource utilization is going to happen in the developing countries like India. So how this means for us, this overshoot day. So we have already reached up to the tipping points. Then waste and pollution, I will not talk too much. I think waste and pollution is another, because when we address, especially the construction industry, when it looks very nice when you look into the green building once it is constructed. But when you do the construction, so during that construction time also, how we are looking into these aspects, air, land, and water pollution, nobody just give a main importance to these things. Because we talk about technology, buildings looks nice, once they are constructed. But during construction, how much impact of our construction activities is going to put on the air quality, land quality, water quality. So those are the challenges in the real estate market, and including noise. Noise is also the one important aspect. Then if you see the waste and pollution, and the lighting pollution is also the major aspect, when you look into the city level and urbanization level. And then water scarcity. And then water is also, because without water, you cannot do construction. So we know that the cities like Mumbai, or because we know the groundwater table statistics, and doing just small recharging, rainwater harvesting and all that is not going to help, because you need a lot of water for the construction. So how to build sustainably, how to optimize water during construction also, those things are also important in the real estate sector. Then water security, as I think this is the latest slide I got from the WRI India, that nearly 45 liters of water is wasted per capita per day in Indian household due to leakages. So imagine where we are going. Even there was a study that more than 50% of energy in Delhi capital region is being consumed only in the water pumping. So imagine where we are going, these kind of, and we are talking about the free water, free energy. So resource utilization and optimum use of resources, how so important in I think in every sector, but I'm talking in respect to the real estate sector. So I think I'll come to directly to I want to show you. Yeah, I think one of the speaker has already spoken about that we have a voluntary green building codes, and there are MOEF environmental regulations also, and local bylaws also, which are more active now, and addressing in the real estate market. At least we have started to think about environment, I would say. So I think something is good happening, but still we have a long journey to pass, but something is going in the right direction. This is what in this slide, I would like to address that when we talk about the sustainability, it is a very integrated approach, especially when in the real estate sector or in a building structure. I think when we come on board as a sustainability expert, then I think all the experts together can make a building more sustainable and more resilient. So it is not only the design, it is about your site statistics, it is about your geography, climatology, hydrology, it is about your biodiversity factor, it is your contribution for services from your decision makers, from your purchase choices. So everything matters. Then, integration way of this approach helps us to bring more sustainability in the overall built environment and the basically real estate industry, I want to say. Then I think embodied energy, somebody has already spoken about, so I will not. Then definitely circular economy in the real estate sector. This is also now very important and very new subject, which I think builders and real estate developer has to understand. So I'm just giving you a just small glimpse look of our projects. This is our one hospitality project, Viveda Farms, which is a platinum rated project, and this is made with entirely with a natural stone, locally procured, and a lot of passive strategies here being used here, and 80% of the energy was just conserved through passive design approach in this project, and rest was taken from the then renewable energy. So it is not something 100% from the renewable energy, but first we have optimized through passive design, then the balance we have used from the renewable energy. So this was the project, and this was our another project, which is an existing campus of UWC Mahindra College, which was converted into a green campus. So you can see the lot of green features of the project. So these are the cases, when the corporates are participating in this sustainability aspects. So this is another project, which is again a net zero project, NIT Tadepalli, which is in Andhra Pradesh. So this is again 100% solar power and net zero project, and entirely made with the precast technology. It was constructed in 1 year, the entire campus. Then this was another one case study, which was existing project was converted into green. It is here we have addressed only the operational carbon, not the embodied one. Only the resources were optimized after auditing, and that was the one case. And this is another case, State Bank of India, where we worked for 4 years, and we have brought their OPI, overall ROI, we have covered in just 3 years. 3 years, we have recovered that ROI after spending 8 crore, on the various retrofitting aspects. As I don't have time to show the case study, but I think these slides are self-explanatory. So everything was done phase-wise, because existing built environment, it is not talking only the new, but how to look into the sustainability in the real estate market, where it's already the existing built environment, how we look into the operational carbon. So that is also important aspect of the sustainability in the entire, at the macro level. So these were the performance towards the net zero, how we have achieved. So there are various 100% green power and net zero examples in the country now. This is again India's first net zero energy project, Globicon Terminals. This is already in Navi Mumbai. So this was the journey, you see, we started from the silver rating, then we achieved platinum at the end. Then after 1 year of operation, we achieved net zero energy. So these are some of the accreditations and things. This was the last slide. This is our TCS project in Hyderabad. This is again the same case study, this was existing project. And you can see that through, not only through the passive design, but if you see the operational energy and every year how the trend of consumption is going to decrease. So, these kind of, I would say the kind of culture in the corporate sometime when they started themselves also within the organization, that is really going to help in their own facilities. So they monitor it well, they look into the aspects in a very efficient manner, their operation and maintenance. So then you are able to achieve such kind of goals, which are challenges also, but it is not something you can't achieve that. You can still achieve that. So you can see the renewable energy, how they have increased year-wise. So this was the green energy trend in the TCS projects. So ultimately, it is a responsibility of everyone. And I think in the 15 minutes, we can't show the case studies. And so many years experience we can't share. But definitely, my last message is real estate sector now must address climate change, because they are really responsible for a lot of environmental degradation. So it is a high time they are doing it, but we need to do a lot. So still, it's a very long journey, but it's a good start. but everyone's efforts really counts and matters. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mala, for sharing the exciting insight on sustainability in real estate, a key driver for a better tomorrow. For viewers who have joined us today, we would like your feedback and encourage you to stay connected with us via our social media handles. AC Update is available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also download our app from Google Play and the App Store. We also request our viewers to stay tuned for future interactions. With that, today's interaction has now come to a close. Thank you and goodbye.